Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm playing duck chess, which is regular chess with the addition of a duck. After each turn, the player moves the duck to an empty square. Then the opponent makes a move, and they move the duck to an empty square. The duck can never be captured. My goal is to win 3 games, and I will only play against higher rated opponents. Let's get started with game number 1. Alright, game number 1, we're immediately paired with a 2100 rated player, which is not great news, but I'm sure we will make do. Honestly, duck chess was never one of my favorite variants, so the only thing I really remember about it is that I got bamboozled into giving Scholar's Mate, and it turns out they can actually just put their own king in check, and then place the duck in between the bishop and the queen, and then you just end up losing a queen, which was absolutely insane, but some things you just have to learn the hard way. But hopefully we'll fare a little bit better in this game, or at least not fall for anything silly. I mean, we can't really afford it. We're playing basically against a 2200 rated player. Let's go for this little fianchetto idea and block their ability to fianchetto their bishop. We get knight to f6, sweet, little fianchetto, block their ability again. And I also do remember that the main idea of using the duck for basically the whole game is just to stop whatever your opponent's trying to do. So if your opponent wants to play bishop to b7, you want to put your duck on b7. And in the meantime, you just sort of keep developing your pieces, duck back to b7. And as long as you're making progress in the position, you're probably going to be fine. Now, this is a 1600 rated duck player speaking, while they are playing against a 2200 rated duck player, but I still think my point stands. Let's play pawn to e3. They want to castle, so I guess duck to f8. It's more important, I guess, to stop them from castling than developing. I'm not totally confident in that statement, but my intuition tells me that in general in chess, you want to put their king in jeopardy, not their pieces. So we get bishop to d2. I guess we can just take back, duck back to f8. So far, I think we're doing a pretty good job of keeping that king in the center of the board. They've also made a pretty intelligent trade here. I mentioned at the beginning of this game that I did get bamboozled the first time I played this, where I tried to give checkmate with a piece that defends another piece at distance. But again, the problem is the duck can drop in between, and then suddenly that piece isn't defending the other piece anymore. So why does that mean this was an intelligent trade? Well, bishops almost always defend at a distance, so they're liable to get cut off. Knights, however, can never be cut off. They can never be interposed, obviously, because they can jump. We will castle out of the way, block the king from doing the same. So knights are probably a little more valuable in this variant since they can always defend whatever they're trying to without getting interposed by the duck, whereas every other piece can be blocked by the duck, like that bishop can't actually attack h7 right now. It's blocked by the duck. We get pawn to c6. I guess I should be going for a central break, and as long as I'm defending all of my pieces one distance away, I really have no issues to worry about. I think a slow crawl into that center is probably justified considering that's where the king is hanging out at the moment. We get queen to c7. I don't think that creates any new threats. Let's just bring the rooks towards the middle of the board. Bishop to b7. Okay, they are creating the opportunity to castle towards the queen side, so I'm going to start throwing some pawns in that general direction. They make castle queen side anyways, but I'd like to at least have a start on that attack in case that is their plan. Also, I have started posting to Instagram in case anyone wants to head over there. What on earth is that? My username on Instagram is I want checkmate. We get rook to a7. I have no idea what the idea is there other than maybe to announce that they're definitely not going to castle queenside. Let's play bishop to a3. I mean, it's not doing anything on this diagonal. It's blocked by my own pawn, so might as well put it on an open diagonal and attack these dark squares now that black's dark square bishop is no longer on the board after getting traded off for that knight. Okay, pawn to c5, duck. Okay, double duty blocking my bishop, fair enough. I'm just going to move the bishop back. Duck back to f8. I need to be careful with my time here, although the opponent is pretty similar on time. The time control for this is 5-4, so you get 5 minutes base time and 4 seconds back for every move that you make. Presumably because you have to move 2 pieces, so instead of 3-2, for example, where you get 2 seconds increment, you get 4 seconds increment, since you have to make a move and then also move the duck. Again, still pretty even on time. Neither of us are making any solid moves towards attacking the center, which is sort of just fronting our pieces at the moment, which I think I'm okay with. I might even play h3 at some point, so I have an escape square. I mean, obviously it's covered by the queen at the moment, but the idea would be to have an escape square so that when these rooks and whatnot start attacking, later in the game, there's never like a back rank mate that could be an issue. Okay, now I'm just overthinking, but hypothetically, you could drop the duck on h2 and then deliver mate. I mean, Yeah, you could, I guess. We get queen to d6, duck to e4. I'm going to go for exactly that plan. The opponent seems to be sort of waiting for me to come to them, which I'm definitely not going to do. I can read the rating, so I have no interest in finding out what sort of traps they have waiting for me. Ooh, pawn to e5. Okay, now we're talking. That's why queen to d6, so they could be defending one square away. I think I can just take, though. Duck back to f8. I'm pretty sure they're just going to interpose with the duck and then take back. But we sort of just end up trading everything off. I don't think I have an issue with that, to be honest. Duck to d4, I don't know. I'm gonna take and then play duck back to f8. We're definitely opening up the position. They have less time than we do. Ooh, queen to e5. This is very, very bold. Let's go ahead and, should we take? We don't need to take, but I'd like to open up the position even more. Duck back to f8 to make sure that they can't castle. Not to mention we are looking at the queen, so either the queen takes back or somebody else takes back and the duck goes back to d4. At which point even like bishop to b5, I mean, it's looking kind of interesting. I have to be very, very careful that I don't try to give a check where the duck can interpose and suddenly the rook isn't defending the queen. Boom, queen has disappeared. So I can't get carried away with the attack, which I'll admit is very easy for me to do, but I do think we have things to look forward to. We get queen takes d5, threatening mate in 1. Actually, not mate in 1. So I'm going to play bishop to b5. And I don't know, I guess duck to f8. If the opponent takes, I just take back with my king, drop the duck in the middle, completely winning. If they don't take back, then I don't know, interesting things are happening. Maybe we can double the rooks. Should be fun. I mean, we're more developed than they are, so if it's about slow crawling this massive pieces towards the opponent, I think we have an advantage. Okay, they're having a deep think here. You'd think for 2200 they'd realize that this wasn't going to work in the first place, but it could have also just been an intimidation tactic. And they might not have realized that we were going to know that that doesn't actually work. Okay, queen does take on d2, duck to d7, we'll go ahead and just take back, duck back to f8, again, just keeping that king in the middle, and actually at the same time keeping this rook out of play. We are well up on time. Okay, no choice but to take back there. This trade would be very, very nice. So I don't have to deal with, okay, but they're going to keep blocking. Fair enough. We'll just make a waiting move, I guess. I'm fine with the trade. Again, everything is defended one square away, so I don't think I have anything to worry about. I don't know, duck back to f8. I still want this trade. I'm going to try to force it. But yeah, king to e7 is just, it's very, very difficult. All right, we'll bring the king towards the center. Keep that rook nice and trapped in the position. And one of two things will happen. They'll create a threat where I actually have to use the duck for an ulterior purpose and then the rook escapes, or they do like h5, rook to h6 and try to force their way out. We get knight back. King to the middle, keep that rook nice and trapped. They also really have no choice but to keep dropping the duck here, unless, yeah, I was going to say because how strong this long diagonal is, unless they actually just block it off, which they have now done with the f6 pawn. Oh, now knight to e5 is coming, and I've just completely allowed that. Oh, pawn to g6. Not really sure what they're trying to get at here. It seems like they're just trying to open up the position, which I guess makes some sense. Oh, there we go. So maybe like that, I guess. We should probably do something similar because I'm literally just getting finessed by a single duck hanging out in front of my pieces and not having any moves left over. So let's shuffle the rook out of the way. Duck to g7. I'm still going to stop this rook from being able to develop. They have about a minute less than we do, which is a miracle considering I'm usually down on time just for running my mouth. But so far it seems to be we're doing okay. I mean, we should be in for a bucket load of rating if we can manage to win this. Okay, king to d6 stops e5 at the moment. We'll bring the king towards the center again. Sort of just slow marching my pieces. Again, can't defend anything at a distance, not even with one square in the middle. So e5 here doesn't work because the duck just slides in. And suddenly that e5, oh, wait a minute. e5 would work if I could play duck to d4, but the problem is the opponent plays it. Okay, duck to g5, or rather, holy smokes, pawn to g5, already dizzy. Let's go like this, just recapture in the middle with a pawn. Seems solid enough. Well, oh, I almost misclicked duck to h4. All right, duck to g7 again, trying to keep that rook nice and trapped. I have to be very careful with pre-moving here because the click that you make right after is where the duck ends up moving to. Okay, pawn to h5. I don't know, we'll just keep your rook nice and blocked in. We're running them down on time, so unless they find a very creative solution here, I think we're in for a nice victory. The question is, what do we even do here? Just hang out for a little bit? Just waste some time? I feel like they could be doing better stuff with their knight because this is all blocked, right? They're going for a reroute. We're gonna play pawn to f5. And just kind of keep that knight at bay for the time being. They might try to reroute. Oh, but they come in with the king. Is that feasible? It may very well be totally fine. Let's go here and duck back. I don't know if that's actually causing them any problems, but the rook can't develop anyways, so we're probably fine to mess around for a little bit. In fact, let's do this. And here? I think this works because now they have to make a knight move and then block with the duck. And then I can come in with, oh, that's mate. Holy smokes. I can come in with mate. Whoa. I'm going to be totally honest. I didn't see that idea, but it is winning. This is going to be an insane first game if we actually get away with this. Yeah, because now we're threatening the threat of taking the rook, which has nowhere to go. You have to move your piece first before you can move the duck. So the rook is trapped. The only option the opponent has is to make another move, say with the knight, and then use the duck to block that attack. By the way, the knight is also hanging. But should they do both of those things, rook to d5 is just checkmate. This is a king capture variant, so that doesn't immediately win, but oh my goodness, the knight goes back, check. What do I do with the duck? Just anything? Literally any move with the duck there is winning. Holy smokes, that is beautiful. And we're defended one square away, so the rook is not hanging. Holy smokes. Okay, I think we got away with it. Yeah, the king takes, we take back, and with that, we win game number 1. How did we only get 20 points from that? Well, we did take off 50 points from the opponent, which is absolutely tragic. But with that, we have 1 victory under our belt. Let's go to move on to game number 2. All right, holy smokes, you've got to be kidding me. All right, game number 2, we get a 23, almost 2400 rated player. Yeah, let's rock and roll. Let's play nice and reserved, kind of sense out what they're trying to do first, and then we'll sort of decide what our plan is based off that. I might even play like a sort of hippo cow sort of thing. Oh, the opponent says, hi, I follow you on YouTube. Good luck. Gotta say thank you. Good luck to you too. All right, pawn to b3, duck to h4. So they're going for the fianchetto. We can probably do the same thing. I'm gonna go for a fianchetto as well and stop their ability to play bishop to b2. Duck to h5, they allow our fianchetto. We're gonna play duck here, because I realize that they're able to develop anyways, but I'd like to have this weakness on b2. Okay, they go for this. Let's keep developing our pieces. Bishop to g2 incoming. Pawn to e6. I'm just gonna insist on blocking this idea because I feel like that's the most annoying way to play this. Unless they're able to castle, then maybe I'll stop that instead, but I'm not totally sure. Okay, duck to d5, knight here. We can develop our bishop, which could have been blocked by the duck, so we'll play that first. And I guess we should block the castle. That probably should be our priority. Not to mention, we'll be able to castle very quickly here in just a second, to either side. Okay, bishop comes out. I don't really care how I develop, I just want to get my pieces out from the back rank so I'm able to castle. If they drop the duck on c6, that would be hugely annoying, and I'm kind of oh my goodness, I didn't realize I was hanging. Wow. Yeah, running my mouth about castling, and then boom, rook disappears off the board. All right, that is highly unfortunate, to the point that I'm not even sure if it's worth playing, but we will follow through. Let's play bishop here, I guess, and duck to e5. In some universe, maybe we take here. Okay, they just grab the free knight instead, which makes perfect sense, and they don't allow us to take the rook. So let's play queen to e7, block the castle, reopen this investigation against the a1 rook, and maybe we'll be looking for like long castle of some sort. We're down a piece against a 2400 rated player. It's not ideal, but it is where we are in the position at the moment, so we'll try to keep our chin up and see what sorts of tricks we can come up with. Okay, bishop to c3, looking for a trade of pieces, which makes a lot of sense, and I should probably not be allowing that. So we'll stop them from castling still, but block the trade, even though it does close the center, which is usually a concern if you have 2 bishops, because you want them to be able to fly into the position, but the truth is they can't even defend at that distance, so it's not like we're missing out on all that much. Let's bring the rook out, stop the castling again. They go knight here. They don't hang anything like we did, so it would be a valid way of getting their king castled. Okay, knight does come to c6, or rather, duck comes to c6, knight goes to a3. We're not even close to being up on time, which would be nice. I'm gonna stop them from castling long, because I'd rather they castle into my heavy on the air quotes attack. We'll shuffle the king over, sort of just wait around. If they're able to create a concrete attack, then I will shiver my timbers, and if they're not, then maybe I'll just sort of go for center break or wait them out for castling on the king's side. Okay, knight goes back, looking for this maneuver, which I gotta give it to them is quite annoying. Let's go queen to e6, duck back to d1. I kind of have to allow them into the position. It's not like I really have a way of kicking them out. Maybe I should be thinking about rook here so I can play this. Okay, they go knight to d5, which somehow I find less annoying. I am moving my rook up because if I want it to defend the bishop on g5, it has to be sitting right there. We'll go to take back with the knight, I guess. Duck back to d1. They have found a way to force a trade, which is quite unfortunate for our position. Again, when you're down on material, you don't want to trade, because that's how you end up in a pawn and king endgame where they just have a whole extra piece that goes taking all your pawns. But for the time being, we don't have a choice. They do castle, which is quite nice. I'm tempted to even give away material, but we'll play it a little more patient than that. Let's go duck to e1, just be extra annoying. Knight to h4 does hit the rook, and the idea here is probably to make me go back, play knight to f5, and then duck here. So I'm going to play back, and then duck to f5, so they don't have the option of coming out to that outpost. So bishop could probably be rerouted to this diagonal. This knight maybe goes to h4, crazy sack idea, maybe just needs to come back to g5. Queen to be honest, is not very well placed, but it's not like she has anywhere else to go. We do get pawn f4, super aggressive. Could potentially open up the bishop. Let's take, because I can't imagine that's bad for us in any way, and drop the duck back on f5. We've not managed to even out the time situation whatsoever. I should probably keep that in the back of my mind before I look down and have 19 seconds left and the opponent has 48. Okay, bishop takes, no brainer to take back. I guess duck back to f5. I wanted to play it here to see if they would take and I could win the rook, which would have been nice. But they do take with the queen anyways. Let's move the queen back out of the way. Duck back to f5. Just kind of keeping that knight at bay. I don't want to trade queens because, again, my only hope here is some sort of kingside attack. Straight from heaven. But we get rook to c1. Let's go rook to g4, duck back to f5. At least pretend to hit the knight, even if it's not concrete. Doing a little bit better about the time situation. That is super annoying because the duck can't go back without trading queens. So we'll move the queen out of the way. Duck to f5, h5 is gone, but I just want to get my queen into the game. Oh, actually, this is more crucial than it seems, because if I play check, it can actually cut off the defense of my rook and just win it outright. So let's play back and then duck over. Stops this, rather stops knight to f5, and finds two different ways to defend the rook. So no matter where the duck is, it can't stop both of these pieces from defending. Now, honestly, it's a very temporary solution, but I need to get my bishop into the game anyways, so we'll pretend like it's a very efficient move. Okay, drops this pawn. Now this is the rook that could be hanging because it can interpose. Is there anything we need to be doing about that? Maybe play this, and where would the queen want to go? Probably back. So we'll play duck to f6. Again, the queen can't take because there's two different pieces that can defend the rook on g7. Okay, queen goes back, stops me from playing there. I have a funny feeling this game is going to end exactly how we'd expect it to. Doesn't mean I'm not going to try for a different result. Let's play this and this. Stops the queen trade, tries to force queen to e3. To what success? I have no idea, but I think it's worth a shot. The light squares are very weak, but the queen alone won't checkmate me. Okay, duck goes back. This doesn't work. Or does it? Does that work? That would be amazing if it did. Play duck back. They take. We can't actually take because there's not enough attackers. If there were some way I could get the bishop in, we'd have a huge advantage here. Okay, as much as I hate making these kinds of moves, I just have to make a waiting move. I'm dropping super low on time, and I'm not getting any more inspired by looking at my clock rundown. So we'll just make a waiting move, which is just a5, and hope for the best. With any luck, the opponent will try to get carried away with an attack of their own. We get pawn to a4. Oh yeah, we're just gonna have to wait here, aren't we? Let's go here, just be annoying. If I could get this queen out of here, then there wouldn't be an issue with that pending trade. We'll go back, same idea. I mean, if the opponent wants to repeat, by all means. But if they do move out of the way, then there won't be this trade issue anymore, and I can use the duck for some other purpose. Okay, the queen goes down. That's actually a pretty good sign, I think. If I take, does that do anything new for me? I don't believe it does. Let's go here and duck to e3. Oh, wait a minute. That could be an issue if the duck drops in the middle. Yeah, and it defends e3 as well. Whoops, that's not ideal. We'll see if the opponent catches on to the idea. Okay, they don't, but this might be even worse because it starts disconnecting our rooks. If we do take, duck just goes to the middle. Yeah, the problem is I don't see how we follow up on any of these attacking ideas. I'm just gonna play here and duck to f5, stop the knight and the rook from coming into play, and I'm going to place the onus on the opponent to figure out exactly how this position evolves over time. Because to be honest, I'm not particularly inspired. I mean, you look at my position, there's not much to be inspired by. We're still down a queen piece, and there's no attack coming from this that I can see. Everything's long range, and that's already a huge red flag because the duck can always jump in the middle and make whatever piece you've thrown into the position unprotected. Okay, we have to move the queen now, because if not, I'm gonna have to move the duck and then trade. So queen out of the way, duck back to f5. Oh wait, never mind, we're still good. Okay, the bishop and the rook both see that rook. Okay, we're fine. We are down to 38 seconds. I might have to focus up here quite a bit. Yeah, I think our rook is just toast. I tried to create some counterplay there, but I ended up trapping my rook, or rather, I threw my rook too far into the position and the opponent found a really nice way to trap it. So this is pure survival mode. Oh, and that's gone as well. Yeah, this game is toast. I have no idea what I'm looking for anymore. I'm just waiting for them to checkmate me, which is kind of inevitable with this storm of pawns that's on its way over. Oh, I've walked into... Yep, that is a king capture. Have to drop GG's in the chat. Absolutely insane victory by this 23, almost 2400 rated player. Due to this loss, we have dropped a tremendous 0.4 ratings. Oh, the opponent has some tips. Hold on a minute. I responded with yes, please. I will wait patiently for a moment while my opponent delivers some valuable information. Okay, the first tip is knights are very strong, so sacrifice rooks for knights. That's valuable, okay. Let me write this down. Hold on a second. Okay, the other piece of advice is try to keep the maximum number of pieces in the center possible and try to see the squares that pieces can move to. So probably that means just grab more space, which makes a lot of sense. Again, those long distance defenses don't work, so kind of crawling into the position makes a lot of sense. One square to escape is a trapped piece, so be careful and try to exchange bishops for knights. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. If there's only one square they can escape to, that's just a trapped piece. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Very, very good. Despite great game, no mistakes except the start, but very strong player. GG's and good luck for your next games. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, let's review this real quick. Knights, super valuable, so much so that they might even be better than rooks. Grab the center, take space as much as you can, and one square escape means that's a trapped piece. All right, okay, I feel pretty good. We have lost an atrocious 0.4 number of rating points, but we have one victory under our belt. Let's go to move on to game number 3. All right, game number 3, another 2100 rated player. All right, knights, very important. So I might even wait developing those for a little bit. Trade them for bishops if possible. Grab the center. Okay, grab the center. Might be a little bit difficult here. I'm gonna go for the fianchetto as well, with the idea of bishop to b2. Nice. I'm going to stop them from fianchettoing, even if they develop their bishop, sort of like the last game. We get pawn to d5. Let's go for another fianchetto. If I can't grab the center, then at least I'm going to be developing my bishops. So I don't mind that at all. And I might even go for like some c4 ideas to see if I can trade off the bishop for the knight. So let's play this, block the fianchetto again. That king is definitely going to be stuck in the center for a little bit. If they do trade and try to stop me from taking the knight with the duck, then that simply opens up the possibility for me to continue developing and then castle eventually. Ooh, bishop to d7. They did say grabbing space was important, so I am going to play c5, I think. Duck back to g7, and I think now my idea is e3, develop the knight, castle out of the way. We should be in a pretty good spot there. Okay, duck to f3 doesn't stop this idea, but now they're threatening c5. Do I trade or do I just wait? I think I trade, because if I don't, then they end up taking and removing my central pawn. And even though it does open up the bishop, it loses me center space. Okay, let's develop the knight, stop the fianchetto, look for castles. Knight to f5 puts more pressure here, so they could theoretically drop the duck, but the problem is it's defended two different ways. So no issue there, we castle out of the way, stop the development of the bishop. And so far, so good. Next up, I think we're looking at like a4, bishop to a3, try to trade these off. That does weaken d4, so maybe e3 is necessary first. I'm hesitant to develop the knight because of bishop to b4, which could easily look for a trade, and that is not what our sensei said we should do. Bishop to d6, let's go a4, stop castling. Queen to f6 puts more pressure on the pawn. I think the opponent is doing a better job than we are of grabbing the center at the moment, but we can go for this trade. Let's go duck here. Okay, the knight does take. I'm going to take on d6 and drop the duck on e5, I think. Okay, they take. We'll go ahead and take back with, let's take back with the bishop. Drop the duck back on e5. They take back, drop the duck on d2. We're going to take on a1. No choice but to move the rook out of the way. But the knight to b4 is super annoying there. Okay, let's just develop the knight and block with the duck again. Maybe we can look for something like this. Worst case scenario, we just shuffle the rook out of the way, place it on the open file. Rook to a5, shuffle the rook over, duck to f8 to stop the king from castling. I might even consider the sacrifice, although I don't know if it's too greedy considering our knight doesn't even have a good spot yet, especially if the bishop just looks at b5. So maybe something like e3, a little more patient, might make sense, but that cuts off the queen from developing the bishop. Knight to e5, super annoying. Let's move back, duck to f8. The opponent does have the center, but we're castled. King to e7, super bold. Let's play queen to d2, duck to g8, stop the rook from developing. It would make a lot of sense for the opponent to go for a kingside attack, because then you can justify the rook already being on h8, but I feel like attacks in this game are generally pretty technical and difficult to pull off. So we'll see what kind of plan they go for. Queen to f5. Let's reroute the knight, duck back to g8. I'm rerouting the knight because there's no chance that I'm going to let it get traded off for a bishop. So let's play knight to d4 maybe. It is very well controlled by the bishop though. All the squares the knight can move to, the bishop can see at the moment. Rook to c5. Duck here, or rather knight to d4, and then duck to g8. And then absolute worst case scenario, they cut us off with the duck and we just take back with the queen anyways. But we do have this nicely centralized knight, maybe e3 to back it up, although I feel like that weakens my light squares quite a bit. That might just be fine there on its own, unless the queen comes and attacks it. Queen goes back to f8 though. Let's bring another piece into the attack, duck back to g8. Now we can recapture directly with the rook. We are up on time, which is nice. And I'm thinking something like h3 here would be kind of cool. Because going back to what our sensei said, a piece with only one square to move to is a trapped piece. And right now this knight has 2. So if I play h3 and then duck to g8, I think I'm just threatening f4, duck to c6. And I don't think that knight has anywhere it can move to. So we're gonna play f4, duck to c6, and hope and pray that this weakness is not actually a weakness and we've just won ourselves a piece. Not to mention we're getting rid of a knight, which our sensei also said are powerful pieces. Ooh, knight to c4, we just take. How do we play this accurately? Let's just go duck back. No chance of developing the other rook ever. It's probably a good thing. We can play e3 to cement that knight in the middle. Yeah, queen takes d4. Let's play e3 and duck back to g8. And I think I'm happy to trade. Wait, why am I not up a piece? Am I totally insane? Oh, queen takes d4 got rid of the knight and I didn't even notice it. Wow, that is tragic. Okay, we are not up a piece. We are just up time. I didn't realize that I was just defending at a distance. Wow, very well played by the opponent. Okay. Let's play. Oh, I genuinely don't even know what to play. Let's just play here and here so the queen can't immediately take. And in theory, we're attacking the queen, although concretely that doesn't do anything. We're up about 20 seconds worth of time. We've completely lost control of the center. Wow, I'm kind of mad at myself for not seeing that. Was it stoppable? It might have even been an avoidable issue, but queen goes back. Let's defend with... No, let's target the queen and then go duck to g8. There's just a lot of interesting things going on at the board at the same time. Maybe the opponent will miss one of them. Would be nice. Would be nice if they just missed one. But realistically, all they have to do is move the queen out of the way and drop the duck back on c3. And there's no issues. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what they do. They move the queen out of the way, duck back to c3. Can we capitalize on that at all? Probably not. Let's play a5, duck to b5. Again, I'm just trying to cause my opponent enough headaches that maybe they won't notice something critical at some point. For example, if they take and move the duck out of the way, boom, free queen. If they take and move the duck down, free king. If they do neither of those things, I guess we can trade queens. Do I want to trade queens? I'm up on time. Why would I want to trade queens? Because if I take, they can cut me off and that's just a free duck. Or rather a free pawn. So, okay, I guess we'll go for the queen trade. Duck here, I guess. One square away, so it's not an issue. We're up now 30-ish seconds of time. I think this back rank could come into play at some point as well. And what are we down? A point of material? No, 2 points worth of material. No, 1. 1 because we still have this pawn. I say 2 because it feels like this pawn is as good as gone, but who knows? Maybe we can find a way to support it, like rook to c7, targeting the bishop, b7. Could be some interesting follow-ups there. Opponent is eating away at the clock, now down to a minute. Ooh, queen trade on the board. Question is, why would I not want a queen trade? Let's trade rooks first. And then, I guess it doesn't really matter where I drop the duck. They're going to take one of these 2 ways anyways. Yeah, and I think I really like this outside pass pawn. Oh, yes, I do. I'm going to take and play this and just try to keep these 2 pieces trapped for as long as feasibly possible. Let's bring another piece into the attack. I can't stop both of them from coming into the position. Best they can do is 1. We'll play check, duck here. And now if you block my rook with the duck, then I just move the pawn. If you block my pawn, then somebody falls back here. Okay, nice. Play this. Duck over, keep that rook nice and cozy. We don't want him to get scared of the battle. We'll keep him nice and trapped there in the corner. Talking smack when we might be in a worse position still is insane, but we're up enough on time that I'm getting a little bit of confidence. Okay, they've stopped that attack. Let's bring the king into the position and stop the bishop from being able to move. If the king moves out of the way, it's a free bishop because I can cut them off with the duck. Rook shuffles over. All right, the king comes further into play. Okay, we'll continue to advance. Bishop is kind of losing a little bit of sight on the position, but it might be okay. Let's go furthermore. There's no more idea of cutting them off and winning the bishop, so this pawn is in a little bit of danger, but I can theoretically just keep the king cut off with the rook. King goes back. e4 would be nice. If they just took and I could get my bishop into the game, could cause some interesting complications. That's not to say that I'm only playing for complications, but I'd be lying if I didn't say it was a big part of what I was looking for in this position. All right, because now we have a weakness, we have a passed pawn, we have a pin, we have pieces that can't develop. There's a lot of good stuff here going for me. Let's play this, potentially winning this pawn. Okay, the king just moves back up. We'll go right back to the same position. If they want to repeat, I probably will try to avoid it. Depends on what exactly I can do about it though. Right, let's play here. Now if they move back, there's just a whole bunch of winning ideas because the rook isn't hanging on b8 anymore. They have 34 seconds to sort themselves out. Okay, that works. Let's play here and here. The rook is probably my main concern. The bishop is sort of stuck behind its own pawns anyways. Okay, check. Has to be something good here. Let's Let's play here. Directly connected, so no issues there. C4 falls next. Ooh, interesting. I would like to take very much. I don't want to drop this pawn for no reason, but I do think it's justified. So let's play, I don't know, here. Again, time pressure is a big part of why we're better here, so we should probably play to that. Let's play check into here. It doesn't really do anything. They just move the king back over, but looks nice. Ooh, bishop back. I think we're fine with a trade and duck pretty much anywhere. Let's go check, duck here. They move back. I mean, I think we can force the rook into the position, I hope. Oh, they put us in check now. That's quite annoying. Let's go further in, rediscover this check by blocking the rook. And we're kind of just looking to grab all these pawns, should they allow it. Again, because if the duck is going to go back and forth blocking the rooks, then I suppose the king could eventually make its way into the position. It becomes more of a king versus king situation. Ooh, that is very bold. Might actually work though, I have no idea. Let's go back, give another check. Again, it's king versus king, so we'll see who makes it there first. I guess duck to g7 could be quite annoying, but now there's check, duck back, and how do you defend both of these pieces at the same time? Should be impossible. Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. Didn't see that idea, to be honest. Okay, let's just move the rook over and play duck to g7. So now they have to move the duck out of the way, and we can move the king over, although this check is quite annoying as well. We'll see. Okay, we can move over. Let's play this. I guess we're just going for the captures. Sure, we'll take. We each win a pawn, no matter which way they take. I guess this is fine. We'll play pawn to h4. Duck here. I need this pawn directly connected to my king, basically ASAP. Okay, the king moves over, stopping me from connecting my pawn. Check here, and I guess we could simplify into an endgame. That would be very drawish. Oh, but they move down. Okay, h5. And then I play duck here with check. 20 seconds left for the opponent, so to be honest, I'm probably just going to play for time here. Okay, we've gotten rid of the rook. Should be just a matter of coming for the pawn now, and that shouldn't be too terribly difficult. Okay, we've now snatched up the pawn, and the opponent offers a draw? No, 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 this is not a draw, I don't believe. I have a hard time believing that this might be a draw. Oh, is this actually a draw? That would be insane if it is. Trying to push the opponent to the side of the board here. I think it's working so far. Nice, and with that we've trapped the opponent's king. Normally a bad thing, but in this game, winning. Oh no, the duck comes back down. I didn't see that idea. Why would you do that to me? Okay, I guess we'll just work them down into the corner until they have no more places to hide? Question mark? Should work. Okay, now surely... Okay, surely this is winning now. Yeah, it must be. The king is trapped and there's nowhere for him to go. Okay, nice. We got away with it. King takes, we take back. And with that, we win game number 3. And this is a victory because this is a king capture game. Whoever's left with the king on the board, even if it looks kind of weird, does win the game. All right, with that, we have 2 victories under our belt. We managed to sort of employ the stuff the sensei gave us. I'm sure it definitely helped. The game felt a lot better, but we'll see if we can employ it with even more precision. Let's move on to game number 4. All right, game number 4, a 1700, basically 1800 rated opponent. Let's go for this time just to stop them from fianchettoing, since that seems to be an awfully popular idea, right? So they do clearly subscribe to that thought process. Let's continue to block that idea. Grab the center as we were instructed. Let's develop the bishop, stop another fianchetto. If I can put the bishops in the middle, that would be great because I have no problem with trading them off. Plus they can defend everything directly, which seems to be pretty much the main idea here. We'll play duck to e7. Surely they'll go for the fianchetto now. Oh, they go for duck to c3. Okay, we'll develop the knights next, but with care, with precision. We have no interest in trading them off. Okay, do get g6. Stop us from developing this way. Let's grab more space, I think. Grab more space. We have queen to c2 as possible. Knight to e2 is still on the board. Very nice. I think this is ideal. Yeah, now we've stopped this fianchetto as well, which is pretty nice. They might go for this idea. We get knight to d7 instead. We'll develop the queen, stop the fianchetto once more, and they have to find a way to sort of unchoke this position. Pawn to c5. Space, I assume, is a good idea here. Since we're pretty well developed, the bishops are front and center, ready to be traded off for some knights. Oh, bishop to g5 might even be a sound idea, but I'm afraid of duck to f6 sort of stopping that, and then eventually we just get booted. Okay, they do take. Do we take this way or this way? Let's take with this pawn, and then duck back to g7. Looking into the queen side, we have an extra central pawn. I think that's in our favor, because normally you wouldn't want to leave this gap for the knight to come in, but the truth is I'm going to give him the boot, and hopefully trade him off for a bishop. pawn to a5. Let's grab more center space. So far, so good. We've subscribed to that idea quite well. We've subscribed to the idea of keeping the knights behind. You guys should subscribe to the channel. And the last thing we have to subscribe to is trapping one of these pieces somehow would be nice. We get pawn to f6. Not sure what the idea of that is. We're going to go ahead and castle out of the way, stop the bishop from fianchettoing once more. Oh, wait a minute. Bishop to b5, and we can trade it off for a knight. If they don't play bishop to a6 right now, that's probably what I'm going to play next. Okay, they play b5. a4, anything to open up the position, to be honest. I'm not afraid of losing this, sorry. And them dropping the duck, because then I just get bishop to b5. These pawns are super weak. Good things seem to be on their way in that position. Ooh, pawn to... Whoa! Pawn to c4 is just trapped. Just absolutely trapped piece. Okay, no choice but to take, right? Right, no choice but to take. Wow, and I was just talking about the idea of trapping their pieces. Look at me, what ego. Let's see how we can trap their pieces. And then we deliver them a bishop on a silver platter. That wasn't even a duck chess idea. That was just straight up a trapped bishop. Okay, let's focus on the present. Should we take back with the knight or the queen? I assume the queen is better. The problem is they've dropped the duck here so they can play bishop to a6 and go for this. So let's take, play duck to g7, and hopefully they play here and I can deliver mate. That would be spectacular. Okay, they play queen to c7, simply defending. e5 here, so tempting. Probably does absolutely nothing, but wow, it looks nice. Yeah, it probably doesn't work because e5, they just take? I don't know, I'm gonna bring my rooks to the middle of the board and then think about e5. Because at the moment, they can't develop their bishop, they can't castle, so there's no reason to jump into an attack that I'm not 100% sure works. That sure looks good. Wait, did I just drop a piece? Oh my goodness, you've got to be kidding me, I've just dropped another piece. Oh my goodness. That is so sad. I was doing so well and I've fallen for the same. That was a core tenement of mine as well, is not to defend at distance, and I've managed to do anything but that. Okay, let's move the queen out of the way. Wow, that has, I'm gonna be honest, that sort of killed my spirit, if I'm being totally honest. Wow, that is bad. Let's see what sort of counterattacks we can go for. There's not, you can't ask for a lot to be on the board when you've already dropped two pieces just willy-nilly, but hopefully we can get something out of the king being in the center. I'm more seriously considering e5 now, just because exploding the center, even if I drop a pawn here and there, might even be worth it just for the tactical ideas. Okay, knight goes back is very interesting. I think they're looking for any way possible to defend the king. Let's go knight to e6 and duck here. I think I'm fine with bishop to e7 because again, the king can't actually go anywhere. They're sort of just shuffling their pieces around. So I think this is good. This is, I mean, that's definitely a good idea. I mean, if we get queen to b5 on top of it, spectacular. But more likely than not, it's not going to be the case, right? We do get duck to c7. Now, why doesn't e5 work? I don't think I see a reason why we shouldn't play e5. e5, let's maybe not fall for the same idea thrice, but is it justified? I don't think it is. Okay, let's go for a different attack. f5 instead, and then duck to g7. Maybe looking for h4, maybe looking for the queen to come in on h5, if I can just displace this pawn. Bishop to a6, right. Check is always forcing though. Duck to g7. Obviously my rook is under attack, but this is an immediately forcing move, so they do have to take back at least. They do take back. Now, rook here, duck back. We stop the attack, threaten the knight. We're not going to take it because the queen defends on the next turn, but it's on the board at least. Knight is very well placed here on e6. We're up on time by a little bit, and hopefully all of those things can somehow justify not having two pieces on the board, but we'll see about that. Whoa, king to e7, duck back. Interesting. Let's go ahead and double up the rooks and move the duck back. Rook to c6 here is very, very interesting. I don't know that it actually bears any fruit, but it's worth keeping in mind. Okay, queen takes e4, duck to c5. Let's go knight back so we can defend d5 and cut the bishop off as well. Because the problem is originally the opponent could have taken and dropped the duck in between, and then I wouldn't be able to take back. So knight back does that, defends d5, and it also has the threat of g6. Okay, rook to h6. Whoa, very interesting. Duck to c5. Let's go rook to e1, duck back. This always is an interesting idea. And maybe if I can unleash multiple things at the same time, maybe it'll be something that the duck can't defend. Rook shuffles over. I guess we have to take, and let's play duck back here so the opponent has to move it out of the way for the next turn. Okay, this is still on the board. Let's go here and duck to e6. Oh my goodness, you've got to be kidding me. Please don't see it. They do see it. All right. Go here and here. I'm just gonna focus up because this is crushing my ambitions a little bit. Whoa. I think we just won. Again, the concept that our sensei told us, if a piece ever only has one square, that's a trapped piece. Holy smokes. Insane comeback. Oh, they go here. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, but we do have this. Oh, there's so much good stuff on the board now. Let's go takes, duck here. Still a lot of threats. 10 seconds now left for the opponent. There have to be some interesting ideas here that buy me time. Definitely some interesting ideas on the board. I don't think that's... Oh, it is defensible. Wow, amazing. Let's try to insist. We're winning this bishop if the king goes back. Obviously, we're not looking for a draw. Oh, wow, we won on time. Amazing. Okay, absolutely heart-throbbing game. Very, very difficult emotionally to get through that one. But with that, we do get 3 victories under our belt. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. This must be easily one of the longest variant videos I've ever posted in a very, very long time. Or actually, possibly ever, like I said. Let me know what variant I should play next, and I will see you guys in the next one.